Hello everyone, and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance from the house of Escada. It is Escada Magnetism. This is the 50 milliliter bottle. It comes in two main sizes, 50 milliliter and 100 milliliter. The 100 milliliter literally just kind of stretches up a little bit farther. They run for the prices of, for the 50 milliliter, $50, and for the 100 milliliter, $65 retail. Now, this fragrance has been discontinued, so those are general prices for it. I've seen this fragrance upwards of $100 to $200, so expect to search around for it. If you find a retailer that sells it for it, you might as well snatch it up, because you probably make a profit if you turn around and sold it for what it's going for on the actual market. Alright? Now, this is the bottle presentation. If you look at the bottle, you probably can't see it through here, but maybe you can see it a little bit. I happen to be wearing a purple shirt, but the bottle itself is a dark purple bottle. It's kind of got these grooves in it that, you know, kind of gives it this prism-like look. The cap is plastic, albeit a heavy plastic. Pops off, and really that's all there is to the presentation. The fragrance was released in the year of 2004. The parfumé is, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, Michael Almaek. Anyways, he's created some other fragrances, reputable fragrances like Azzaro, some of the Azzaro line, created a bunch of the Bond fragrances, he's created some of the Burberry fragrances. He's gotten a pretty extensive list, so he's been out there and he's been doing his thing for a while now, right? So with that, let's go ahead and get on to the notes. The notes. The top consists of woody notes and saffron. Our mid consists of leather, sandalwood, and cedar. And our base consists of Tolu balsam, amber, and musk, or Tolu balsam, amber, and musk. Now, this smell, I'd heard a lot of things about it before I actually purchased it, and I purchased it, and I've had this for a while now. One of the first things that I heard is that it smells like grape soda. So what I wanted to try and do is kind of go into it with an open mind. And I can tell you from all the notes that I listed off, you get a smell of all those notes. One of the biggest smells that you're going to get from it is the balsam note, which most people don't know what it is. Well, what it is basically a resin. Now, the resin is actually used in cough syrup. It's still used in some cough syrup today, and that will explain what I initially thought. And I initially thought that the fragrance smelled a little bit, it smelled very sweet, and it did remind me of grape syrup. Of grape soda, but it also more accurately reminded me of like a syrup. I wouldn't say cough syrup, because that really didn't come to mind until I read that balsam was used in cough syrup and still is used in cough syrup, and I realized, yes, it actually does remind me of cough syrup. So more accurately to me, this smells like grape cough syrup, if you will. You can definitely pick out all the notes in it, whether it be leather. You can definitely pick out the leather notes that are in it. You can definitely pick out the amber, the musk, the woody notes from it. The only one that I probably can't pick out well, which is kind of surprising, is the cedar, but I guess that's kind of mixed in with the woody notes. Saffron, you get that from this, but overall, when the composition comes together, it does smell, at least to me, like grape cough syrup. So that right there kind of tells you I'm not too big of a fan of the smell. I don't think it smells bad, I just don't want to smell like grape cough syrup. Some people say grape soda. I think that's perfectly acceptable, because I do think that it smells like grape soda. And there are some people who say that it doesn't remind them of that at all. So I guess one of the reasons why I'm a little bit more sensitive to it is because I used to love grape soda when growing up. And I used to, you know, when I was sick, drink grape-flavored cough syrup. Was of one of the things. And that's why this really does remind me of those things. Now, if we're talking about, you know, what it turns into, it really kind of stays the same. The only thing that I would say is the woody notes starts to come out a little bit more as it begins to dry down on your skin. And some of the compliments, or some of the things that I would get later on, as far as compliments go, is some people did think that I'd spilled grape soda. So go figure. Alright, now, spray-wise, I generally go about 3 sprays with this one. 3 sprays is a little bit on the heavier side, to be honest. The reason I go 3 is I find, when it comes to the performance of the fragrance lasts about 8 hours, but performance-wise, it lasts anywhere between, the projection is good, but the sillage is not so good. So it doesn't really leave a good scent trail around you, and you really have to kind of be around for this fragrance to kind of leave its mark and have its impression on you. And so that's why I kind of go a little bit more on the heavier spray-wise. Occasion-wise, I have a little bit of trouble placing this for occasion-wise. I really only use it for a casual fragrance. You could possibly use it for a date fragrance. It's just not my style and not something I can envision being a really good date fragrance. You don't want to possibly have the effect of coming off to your date as smelling like cough syrup. And that's why I can only really recommend it for it being a casual fragrance on that. Season-wise, I say this is optimal for fall. Fall, it's a little bit too sweet, I think, for the warmer months. I mean, you could definitely pull it off, but I still think it's optimal for when it starts to cool down a little bit and it's not too cold. Fall is written all over this one. And as far as age group goes, any age group really can wear this one. Any age group, whether you be younger or older, you go ahead and wear this one. There is a little bit of a caveat though on this one. This one has an 80s powerhouse fragrance type of a feel to it. It's not as powerful as 80s fragrances, but it does have like an old vibe to it. It doesn't have a modern fragrance type of vibe. Definitely an old fragrance type of a vibe to it. So when I took this out, I take fragrances out to Times Square and I have 100 different people smell it, 100 random people. I try and divide it up between 50 men, 50 women. The results were 51 people said they liked the fragrance. Of the 51 that said they liked the fragrance, they said that it was sweet. They said that it was seductive. They said that it was attractive. Of the people who disliked the fragrance, there was 32 people who disliked it. They said that it smelled like cough syrup. They said that it was too sweet. They said it was too cloying. Or, yeah, too cloying basically was the one. But cough syrup was the biggest one that they didn't, that they thought that it smelled like. And 17 people were neutral. So they kind of landed in the middle on it. So if I'm going to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating, I give it a rating of a 6 out of 10. I give it a 6 out of 10 for a couple reasons. It's not a bad fragrance overall, and I think it's definitely one that you should try out if you can get your hands on it. I personally would not pay the amounts that they're selling for right now, which is anywhere between 100 and 200. I definitely wouldn't pay that value for this. Unless you're a collector and you feel that you got to get it in your collection, then by all means go ahead. But as far as value goes, I probably wouldn't have even bought it at retail price. So that's to kind of give you an edge. I would have bought it for a little bit of a discount, but definitely not retail. I don't think that it's not versatile enough. It's very, I guess you could say, linear in that fashion. I don't like the prospect of possibly smelling like cough syrup to people or smelling like grape soda to people. Either prospect to me isn't very appealing. And while I can understand that some people say that it does not smell like that, there are, with what I've found, plenty of people who do think that it smells like it. So you're going to come across some people that do. Unless it kind of turns to something different on your skin, and that's a different matter altogether. But, and the final thing, or the final two things is, it's A, it's hard to get, and B, it has one of those old school type of a scents. And that's why I give it a 6 out of 10. It's, again, not a bad fragrance. It's one that you're definitely going to have to try out, see how it kind of feels on you. All right? So let me know what your thoughts on it, what your experiences are with Escada Magnetism. Thank you, take care of yourselves, and have a great day.